Hello, everyone. Excited to be here in my Facebook group. So there are many new faces. If you're brand new to the group, say hello. Let us know where you're from. Super exciting to have you join us here. I can't wait to get to know you more. So thank you for being here. My name is Jen Gilchrist. I'm host of the Soul Inspired Leaders Collective. So welcome, welcome. So say hello, whether you're live or on the replay. I like to do these monthly readings where we can go week by week and take a look at the month ahead, really, right? To really lay the framework and get a sense of how we can best work with the energy and align with our higher path and purpose. Hey, Martin from Germany. So glad to have you here. Fun to see you here. So say hello as you're joining in. Love to always see who's here for sure. So this reading is really just going to help lay the framework, right? Sometimes it's like, we have the opportunity in every action and every step that we take to either align with a higher path or to work against our higher path. And so this is really going to support you in aligning with that energy and really just knowing what's ahead so that you can work with it in the best possible way. A couple of quick announcements that I have. If you are brand new to the group, we are going to have next week beginning a 4-day Amplify Your Clairvoyance Channeling and Healing Abilities series, which is super powerful. Whether you've done this before, if you've been in the group a while, many people do it more than once. People do it every time I do it, every time I run the live, because it's always different and it's always very transformational. So I can't wait to get to know you further. We do kick that off next week. So that's almost here. And then the other announcement would be we have our Shine Your Uniqueness, our monthly workshop series special for 3 days, the first Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday of each month. There's a new theme. And this particular month's theme, I usually tune in intuitively to the collective of my community and see what would serve. And this month was all around shining your light, really owning your uniqueness and clearing a lot of fears around coming out of the spiritual closet, any imposter syndrome, any of the fears and doubts that might be stopping you from really getting out and being seen in the world with your gifts. So that is a special that is on sale for just $37 today and through Thursday of this first week of February. It'll always be available on my website for $57, but I wanted to mention that because many of you are new. And so that's something that we do each month. Hey, Kelly, Susie, Marie. All right, so let's dive into this one fell out just before I had the intention for anything. So I'm going to kind of read this as a general message, and then we will go ahead and do the month by month. Hey, Jeffrey, glad you joined us. All right, the courageous peony. Okay, this is funny, right? I was talking about the Shine Your Uniqueness workshop, and it says multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. Hello, of all the cards I could pull right now, or that actually just fell out while I was sharing about the workshop. So if this is you, it's a great opportunity. The value of the workshop, honestly, could easily sell for $197. There's a video training on the topic. There's a workbook. There is 3 actually meditations within this one that's brand new, and a couple bonus ones that I put in to support. And then we have a live group or a reading and clearing. So if this is you and you're being called to shine your uniqueness and be seen, you might want to check it out. So that's hilarious, right? Can't make it up, right? All right, so let's go ahead and start officially with the first week. So we are actually in real time in a new moon. So this is also a wonderful time to set your intentions. Set your intentions for the month ahead. Of course, you can set specific intentions that are longer term, but we're on a new, lunar cycle for the month. So go ahead and set those intentions today. Give some time to contemplate that. The new moon period is also a wonderful time to tune into the intuition, right? Creating space for that divine feminine energy within each one of us. So just in general, that is a powerful time to trust your intuition and tune into your intuition and your ideas. All right, so for this first week of February, which is from yesterday all the way through Sunday, I'm going to pull a few cards to talk about. See which ones are here. Hello, Emma from the UK. Love always seeing people from all across the globe. All right, so let's look here at the first week. It says the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love. So you might be a little tender, right? You might notice, we've kind of had, we've been in a Mercury retrograde, right? So it's like and the Venus retrograde taking us into the beginning of this year. So there might be some different types of relationship patterns or unresolved issues within yourself or with others that could be showing up for you. Maybe they've been showing up for you, or maybe they're going to show up for you. If that's the case, this is really about really recognizing, I think, and honoring how you're truly feeling and getting to that core root cause of it, right? Taking our power back in some ways from the situation, really acknowledging how we feel and really getting underneath that root cause of things so that you can soften to love, so that you can release those things, those people, those patterns, those things that we're hanging on to that could be holding us down. So just recognizing, what's coming up for you and honor that. Oh, hey, Andrea, super good to see you here. Hey, Paula, Melissa, wonderful. Oh, this is beautiful. Whale and Orca Elders. It says, share your song, the frequency of sound and diving deep. So I feel like there's multiple messages here, and I don't know that I've actually pulled this particular card before, to be honest. I don't recall seeing it. It's really a beautiful card though. And so I'm going to read this intuitively. So this is for the first week of February. We're doing a week by week breakdown for this month if you're just joining us. So share your song. It really does remind me of what this month's topic is, right? It's all around shining your light, being seen, being heard, and honoring your unique voice. So this could be, for some of you, it could actually be having communication with somebody, perhaps if you are feeling like there's some emotions and things maybe coming up that need to be said or resolved. But for a lot of you, I think this is also about you sharing your truth and your messages and your gifts, whether that's through writing, through speaking, through a book, through blogging, and even honestly sharing it with yourself in your journal can be a powerful way to get clear about your truth as well. But this does say share. So I feel like there is a level of expressing yourself to someone or to the collective if you're feeling called to share your gifts in the world. And then the other feeling that comes through, just kind of matching with the intuitively off the first card, has to do with like honoring your feelings, like diving deep. So two things come to mind with the whale energy. It's like really soulful, right? Deep into your life purpose. That could be some of you that you're feeling more guided to bring your purpose and your gifts to life more fully, right? So taking the time to that, or to honor that, or to share that if you're feeling called, but maybe haven't, right? Even simply blog posts, things like that could be a great way to get started. And then the other thing I feel like is diving deep into your emotions. So if you do have something going on that hasn't been expressed fully, or that you're just feeling in your body or in your heart or in your mind, this is about diving deep to get to the root of it. And the new moon energy that we're in right now is highlighting our feelings, right? And so our emotions and our feelings are always telling us something that we need to be aware of, for sure. You are not alone. Isolation, physical connection, and community. So this is really just saying, I feel like don't be aware of getting into isolation. I mean, there is a time and a place, especially for many of us are highly sensitive, empathic, introverted, perhaps, that we do need that downtime to recharge and regain our energy, for sure, to have that balance. But I feel like in this card, it could be like, watching yourself from being into the isolation, right? And recognizing that you're not alone, and reaching out to community or to support, groups like this is a wonderful way. But also perhaps in your own life, maybe you're being called to get out in the world a little bit more, because it does mention physical connection as well. So are you taking the time to do some things that you love, right? Are you getting time to go have some fun and actually be with people? I know this year in particular has been a little bit more challenging in that way. And sometimes you just kind of get into the habit of, being by yourself, but this feels like, connecting with others is important. The next week, so the second week of February, which would be the 7th through 13th, I got the crystal deck now. Let's see, the wellness card. So recovery of health and wellness is here. So it feels like you have been going through deep levels of healing and transformation, emotional healing, purging, cleansing, right? You probably had that inclination if you're listening to this in real time, because we've been in this retrograde energy in one form or another. Venus retrograde coming into the beginning of the year from December into January, and then Mercury in retrograde, is always giving us that opportunity to really reevaluate and release and realign, and to purge things that are not working for us. And so I feel like there's definitely a call in terms of, and the next card I just happened to look down, I hadn't looked at yet, is about healthy communication and relationships. So I think it is diving into, you've been going through a big transformation and healing. You're being called to continue to purge those emotions. And part of that is recognizing and honoring what you actually feel, right? And in some ways sometimes having to express your truth, or impose a boundary or recognizing that within. The second card says Aqua Aura, healthy communication relationships, heart-to-heart discussions, and clear, assertive communication helps you to understand and be understood. And I feel like, just on the heels of that initial card of you are not alone, I feel like, many of us intuitive empaths, sometimes we feel like we are misunderstood, right? That's kind of a core wound that many of us have, that maybe we feel like we don't belong or we are misunderstood with our family in some way. So that could be part of your core wound that's coming up as well as you are being called into service of sharing your heart with the world, right? Or as you're being called to, be truthful to yourself and to others within your relationships about what's working and what's not. And so this is really about having that honest communication first with yourself. What is it that you truly desire? What is working for you? What is not? And then having those heart-to-heart discussions with those that it may include if something needs to shift within the dynamic, right? Or maybe just let go in some cases. Hey, Joy, good to see you here. Kyanite, time for self-care, making self-care essential is, let me just write that again. So it says taking care of yourself is essential right now. So making time. And so this kind of really reminds me of that first card. So really the first couple of cards is showing up in a lot of this divine feminine type energy, making sure that we are taking the time and space to honor our emotions, connect with ourselves, our intuition, rest and rejuvenate. It does say also, not to isolate. So making sure that you have time for, to me, self-care also includes having some fun, right? Having some fun and enjoying life, enjoying things, enjoying people. This card does pop up too for the Ascended Masters for this week. And it says, detach from drama. So just recognize, are you buying into the stories, or is there some story that you've made up or that is running within your field that is not creating, that is maybe creating anxiety or unrest or drama, unnecessarily expenditure of energy? Really recognize, what stories are you telling yourself, or have you kind of bought into, whether that's on a collective level or just on a personal level, could be showing up again. I think there's a lot around relationships dynamics, which is our greatest, teachers, right? Relationship dynamics definitely teach us a lot. Your husband told you that he wanted you to leave a couple of days ago. Big love to you, Tammy. I know it's really hard, sometimes when when things change, core things rock our foundation in this way, but just trust in the process. Trust that, what we're being guided to let go of oftentimes, especially through these retrogrades, even if we don't see the blessing in it, there's always a way to align with the higher path for yourself. And sometimes we find that we've grown apart, or we've grown in different directions. And sometimes we want to hold on and stay in things that are just comfortable and familiar, right? When really our soul, is at the end of the day, what's aligned for one is aligned for the other, even if it doesn't feel like that in the moment. So just trusting and surrendering to what is, and just tuning into your guidance, being extra gentle with yourself right now. And for anybody else that might be feeling that way, if they're having some shifts in their relationships or endings and beginnings that happen, knowing that on the other side of that, there's always opportunity for deeper levels of alignment. And sometimes it might include how our getting, sometimes it might shift the way that we are within current relationships if we have the courage to have, honest discussions or take breaks. And then sometimes there's just endings, there's a season and a reason for things, right? But just trusting the other side of that, there's always a deeper level of opportunity of love, happiness, joy, and alignment there for you, right? Even if we have that space of the unknown for a little while. But big love for sure. Okay, looking at the next week is the 13th through 20th. So the next week, this is kind of speaking, I feel like might be now feeling like we're getting into more action. See. Okay, so there's just way too many cards. I'm going to just try to narrow this down so that we can get all of it done. Okay, so this does feel like it's like the middle of the month. So the beginning of the month might be more reflective, might be more internal, or at least making space for the reflective internal time. Doesn't mean we can't take action on things if you're in a project or you have things, life must move on, but just making special time for that divine feminine energy within each of us to be recognized, unbalanced within. And then it looks like it starts to move perhaps into action. The first card is perfectionism. It says polishing your creative projects is fine, but don't allow perfectionism fear to result in procrastination. Right? So perfectionism is a biggie, right? Fear can hide as we get to want to especially sharing our gifts in the world. And I'm going to say that because I think a lot of you in this group realize that you have something to share in the world. You have a unique message, a story, an inspiration. You have a desire in your heart to be of service in some way. And sometimes perfectionism is a sneaky way that fear can hide. And it's interesting that, of course, this month's workshop theme that when I looked at the collective energy was own your uniqueness and shine your light. And it was all about releasing these fears that can keep us spinning and stuck and hiding and not sharing our gifts in the world and not taking the leap of faith and not starting the business or not writing the book or whatever it is. And so this is just like practice makes perfect, right? And you don't have to be perfect, and we'll never really be perfect. You're already divinely perfect in that way. Notice where you might be keeping yourself safe and hidden and small by not, and how that might be showing up in perfectionism. Okay, I think we can all relate to perfectionism in some form or fashion. Because the next card is creative expression. It says God's divine creativity is expressed through your actions. So yeah, this is time to start taking your actions into the world, right? One step at a time. It doesn't mean that everything has to happen all at once, but it does mean that, of course, we always have free will of choice, but what I've noticed is that even if I take the time to work through my fears and take action, even if I don't feel ready, right, out of my comfort zone a little bit on something, like the first time I did a video, I was totally scared and I felt so self-conscious, for a really long time, actually. But you have to start somewhere. You're not going to have your best video on your first video, right? But if you don't do your first video, you're not going to get better to practice. So this is just saying that practice makes perfect, and it's time to express yourself and deal with those fears that might be showing up so that you can take action on those things that are coming through you. It feels like you probably already know what these ideas are, but maybe it just seems like either too big of a vision or goal, or you don't know where to begin. So just start with one step at a time. One step at a time. What's the next step you can take today to share with the world? And if you know what that step is, then internally, deal with that fear, feel the fear, and then do it anyways. Take one step forward. Express your inner truth. Your creative work shines brightest when it reflects your genuine feelings and thoughts. And so this is really about, honoring your truth, expressing your truth. For some of you that don't feel called to a business yet in some way, then again, I think this theme can always be brought back to expressing our truth to ourselves and to others. Being honest about what is it that you really want in your life? What is it that you want to experience? What is it that is working or not working for you in relations with other people or in your workspace? Really taking that time to be honest with yourself and then having those honest discussions. Okay, so the next week is, I feel like I've done 3 weeks. Have I done 3 weeks? We're going to do the final week. It's only kind of a short month. So let's go ahead here. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do from the 21st through the 28th. I'm feeling Archangel Gabriel again, which is our messenger angel. Okay, well, I guess just a handful wants to come out, so we're gonna take them. All right, so the first one is priorities. So this is definitely, the first half of the month, internal process, move through your stuff. Second half, getting into action, do imperfect action, right? So priorities, organize your time, make sure that you're creating enough space and time for the things that you actually want to prioritize. This is where some of the conversations earlier in the month could be around boundaries of your time. It could be, it could be around that. It could be about you prioritizing and making time for your dreams. Maybe you put everybody else's dreams and all the family's needs and everybody else's stuff on the table before your own, and then yours keeps getting on the back burner. Sorry about that. I always have a reminder. I teach a class later shortly. Actually, that was my reminder call. All right, so priorities. Prioritize your time, right? Make sure that you put your dreams on the table. Make sure that you make time for the things that are important for you. And if you're hitting procrastination or anything else that might be stirring up that's kind of blocking your action, well, then do what needs to be done to feel and to clear what's really going on so that you can take action. And that is where, for some of you that are resonating with these second part of the month messages, especially, you might really love the workshop, which is on that flash sale for just $37, because there's so much healing and clearing and activities around clearing all of these kinds of fears so that you can shine your light and share your gifts with the world. The next card I love is you are seeing the situation accurately, totally seeing the third eye right there, your clairvoyance, your intuition, just really trusting yourself, trusting your ideas are divinely guided, trusting that you're seeing the truth of a situation. So you might be getting some ideas, and this could be towards your business, towards your purpose, or even about a person and a situation, since there was clearly relationship stuff happening for a lot, or especially towards the beginning of the month, you're seeing this situation accurately. So trust yourself and take action. You can trust your intuitive insights and information. And if you're not making time for those intuitive insights and inspirations, then make time for them, because you're very much connected to the truth of a situation right now. If you take the time to open up to connecting with that information that you always have connection to, and as well as your angels and guides are guiding you towards knowing what steps to take. Mother Mary is here helping you with your divine life purpose. I love Mother Mary's energy, so sweet and like so warm and compassionate, right? That divine mother energy. And so you have support. Your spiritual support team is here helping you, whether you're healing through a tough time, an emotional time, or whether you are feeling called to get clarity of your purpose. So this does mention specific purpose work. And I know most of you in here do feel called in some way, whether you're clear on that or not, what that is. So just asking your angels and guides, I feel like, I'm seeing them whisper in your ear, like you're sitting in contemplation, and your angels and guides are there just to give you the information that you're asking for. We just have to make time and space to hear it and quiet the monkey mind chatter to let the intuition speak to us, right? And open your heart to love. The more you open your heart and pour love into your creations, the greater their life force energy. And this is the power of the magnetism, right? The power of authentically expressing yourself in your life and in your work and in your business. It becomes magnetic. It becomes magnetic, and it becomes something that attracts the correct people into your life, the opportunities, right? It's that level of alignment. And, again, this is where you don't have to be perfect, but when you're coming from a place of authentic truth and love, people are pretty forgiving. I misspeak all the time. I have typos. I am typo queen. Typo queen. The best editing happens after I do it. I think part of it's because I'm on my phone and starting to need reading glasses, and autocorrect happens, and it's like, boom, afterwards, right? But I used to get really hung up on all that. And of course, you still want to be able to do good works, but you don't have to be perfect to do it. People are much more forgiving to you than we are with ourselves. So look at yourself with that loving eye and perspective, like you would a child or a friend. That's how your angels and guides are looking at you. Like, lean into Mother Mary for that compassion, and really own that self-love and compassion to yourself and towards others. And it does say open your heart to love. So there could be a situation, if you have been being in a dynamic with another person, that opening your heart to love just helps you to stop the engagement of the fight, of the pull, of the right or wrong, black and white. It allows you to open up to see resolution and to have resolution, not necessarily with the other person. If they were, harmful to you in some way, would be correct. But forgiveness is really releasing yourself from the toxicity of it, right? And being able to open in and see different perspectives and points of view so that you can heal and let go of the things that are robbing you of your peace and your joy. Right. And so that could be for some of you as well. And blocks are lifted. It said previous obstacles from fear are lifted now. So this really does feel like, if you really have the opportunity to stretch through and move through a lot of layers of fear and really get into deeper levels of alignment in your action with how you're showing up in your life and your business and relationships. So that is our messages for today. And I'm seeing this card two cards now popping off the top, because it's Mother Mary again. So Mother Mary, so first card I'll just start with is divine timing. So trusting the divine timing, right? And it feels like the time is now. It's time to take action on these things now. And again, this is more towards the middle end of the month. So you still might be processing a bit and a lot of things to help you in that way. But this is like you're in alignment with divine timing in your situation that's at mind. And then Mother Mary is here again. So really, I just feel like lean into the support in the arms of your angels and your guides. And Mother Mary has that powerful, loving energy that we can buoy off of sometimes if we're feeling vulnerable, or if we're feeling like we just need a little bit extra love and support. So that is the messages for this month. Really, really powerful. Thank you all for joining me. Hey, Shani, Ali, Alice, and wonderful Tina, to see you all here. A couple of the quick announcements. If you just jumped on, if you may have done this before, you may have not. Either way, you're welcome to join us for another round of 4-day series beginning next week. You'll want to register because I send out, all of the handouts and activations with theta healing music and all the things to support you. But we're starting a new round of 4-day Amplify your channeling, clairvoyant, and healing abilities next week, which is always so much fun. People just have such a high level of transformation, and people who have gone through my programs have come back and do this series because there's so much healing, and awarenesses to be had. So if that's something, I'll come back and I'll include the link for that. It's free, but we do begin next week. So I'll share that information. And then second announcement is every month I have a new workshop series. I tune in intuitively to the collective to see what's going to serve my community best. And I have a really inexpensive invitation so that I can support more people on a broader scale in different areas. And this month is all around own your uniqueness and shine your light. And this workshop series comes with a video training, a workbook, and some guided healing activations and meditations to support you in releasing perfectionism, imposter syndrome, fear of getting out, fear of speaking your truth and shining your light, right? Really turning your amplification up of your magnetism so that you can share your gifts in the world. And then we also always have a live group clearing an aura on this whatever topic, which is really powerful. That happens in a couple of weeks, the third Tuesday, replay is available, where I do a reading and clearing on this particular theme to help you process and cultivate, clear the energy even more on the topic. So if that's something you're interested in, for 3 days a month, the first Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's just $37. After that, it's still available. It will be $57, both, which is a great deal. I would say I see a lot of people charging $197 for something of the amount of information that you actually get for each one. I just like to make this particular workshop is the way that I give more broadly and widely to people to make it an easy yes, right? An easy support for people. So I'm super excited for the workshop. Yay, me too. And the 4-day series starts next week. So I know you're going to get a lot of value there as well. So that is what I have for you all today. Again, if you're listening to this in present time, it's a new moon energy. Set your intentions, journal, really call in your angels and guides and really just get clear about what is it that you want to experience? What is it that you want to create, right? Be the conscious creator that you are. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye for now.